Hey there, welcome back to Beauty Bee and to my first update for my supporting cast project pan. The idea behind this project is to choose one item that you have a real fixed solid goal on. Maybe it's to hit pan, maybe it's to finish it off. The world is your oyster. You then choose 4 other items that you think would really complement that product. For example, I had an eyeshadow in, so I chose a lip color that I would like to wear with that eyeshadow. I chose another eyeshadow that I would like to pair with it. Things like that. Something that could give you a really easy look, or at least provide sort of a no-brainer. Here's my plan when I'm getting ready in the morning for those days when you just don't want to think, which recently has been a lot. And then once you hit your goal on that main product, or every 2 months, whichever one's first, you come back, you update, and you refresh. Now, it has been about 5 weeks since I uploaded the first video, and if we're very smart here, we can figure out that 5 weeks is less than 2 months. So, I hit pan. My goal was to hit pan on this blue, and I did it. Just a tiny, tiny little fleck of baby pan, but you know what? It's all I needed. This was in my year-long project pan. I guess still is in my year-long project pan. Also just with the goal of hitting pan, so there you have it. There it is. I will also show the other 4 products that I've had in during this period, and then we can talk about my new picks. So probably the item that was in here and got the least use was this Wet n Wild eyeshadow. This is sort of like a dusty clay shade is what I would call it. It's from their Silent Treatment palette. It is the most nondescript, super neutral eyeshadow. I do like how cool toned it is, or at least super, super neutral toned. But I think I used this maybe once. I don't know. Instead, what I found myself using a lot more often was this green shade. I'm also trying to work on this, and we'll see in just a second that this kind of suited some of the other products, I think, a little bit better than this might have. So I've actually made pretty good progress on this green shade as well, though it's not actually in the project, but I think that's why I didn't end up getting as much use on that Wet n Wild shadow as I might have otherwise. But oh well, I'm still making progress, and I mean, this is a nice neutral. I am sure that I will find more use for it at some point. I think we're just going like least used to most used. Next up would be my Urban Decay Shadow Stick. This is in the shade Mildew. And I have made a little bit of progress on this because I'm pretty sure that the end of the product was just beyond the plastic last time, and now it's just under the plastic. I did have to sharpen this once or twice because I wanted to use it as eyeliner. I suppose I could just use it like this, but I don't know if I could really manage that. I think I would make a mess. But I've used this probably 2 or 3 times, maybe up to 4. In any case, I used this 3 or 4 times, so not a huge amount. A couple times I used it all over my lid, and then I would top it off with that sparkly blue shade. A couple of other times I used it as lower liner. I used it just on the outer corner once, and I liked that effect too. So I did get some good use out of this. This is just a product that I never think to reach for. It's the only product that I have like this, and it's such an odd color. I could see myself getting a lot more use out of something like this if it was, a champagne or a light pink or something that I would wear as a wind shadow look. This is just a little bit too deep for that, at least for me. And let's see, next up would be my Bare Minerals Gen Nude Blush. I will be putting in pictures comparing where I am now with all of these products versus where I was 5 weeks ago, but I don't think there will be much of a difference in this. I have been using this quite a bit. I've probably been using it a little bit more than once a week, maybe 1 or 2 times a week on average, and the surface is starting to look pretty beat up. It looks very skin-like. You can definitely see sort of pores developing on the surface, and there is a tiniest little dip that I can sort of see from some angles, but it's a blush. Progress is almost always very slow on blushes, and that one is no exception. Okay, so it's a couple of days later, hence different hair, makeup, everything. But I realized I was starting to edit this video that I had been using the wrong blush all month long. I don't know how I missed that, but I introduced this blush in the intro video, and I have used it, so I guess I can show my little bit of progress. Haven't used it super consistently, but I've used it probably 5 or 6 times over the past month. And then probably the day after or 2 days after I filmed the introduction video, I just got it in my head that I had put that Bare Minerals blush in the video. So here we are. I did make progress on both of them. I did use them both over the course of the month, but they're blushes, so there's probably no visual progress. And yeah, I don't really know how to end this segment. Let's just end it. The only one of these supporting products that I think we will actually see visible progress on is my e.l.f. Hydrating Core Lip Shine. This is in the shade Delightful, and I want to say that I had a little bit more than half of the product left when I started this project, and now I would say that I have quite a bit less than half. I don't think I'm down to like having a third of the product left, but I think I've used up quite a bit. Hopefully we'll be able to see that in the picture. Let's talk about the star product for the next 2 months or however long, and that is this copper eyeshadow. Now this was in my Wet n Wild Rosé in the Air palette when I depotted / repressed it, but it's actually a mixture of a couple of old Sleek shades, and I mean, this is the damage that I did as I was trying to swatch this earlier. It is super thin in the pan. My goal is going to be to finish this. The unfortunate thing about this, and the thing that makes me really want to use it up ASAP, is that it's pretty hard panned in there. I basically can get pigment like that, which is not terrible. I have used worse eyeshadows, or I have to use it as a loose shadow, so I'm scraping a little bit out with my fingernail so I can swatch it. Here's what it looks like as a loose shadow. So it's definitely more pigmented, but it takes quite a bit to do that. I hope I can show this without making too much of a mess. I mean, I had to scrape out quite a bit just to get that swatch on my arm. So I don't think there is a ton of use left in this, but it is something that I would really like to move out of my collection. I have so many eyeshadows at this point. I did some damage on the ColourPop website last night, which didn't need to do, but oh well. And the short version is I'm gonna have more eyeshadows, so I want to use some up. And I think that this is low-hanging fruit in that regards. I think that I could definitely use this up within the next 2 months if I really focused on it. And to help me focus on it, I have 4 other products, my supporting cast. I have 1 lip product. This is from NARS. It is the Afterglow Lip Balm in the shade Laguna. This is the birthday gift this year. I feel like I talk about this in every other video. It is super neutral. It gives just a little bit of a brown shine to the lips. On me, it's a noticeable tint of brown. I suspect that on people who are just a little bit deeper than me or considerably more warm toned than me, it might not be that noticeable at all. But I mean, they are such similar colors that I just thought this would be a really fun, easy thing to throw on with that copper shade. Actually, everything I pulled this month is a very, very similar color. Next up, we have this Bite Size eyeshadow palette from e.l.f. This is the shade Pumpkin Pie. And I mean, I think you can tell why I picked this. This shade would fit right in this palette. It is looking pretty similar to this shade, just in the pan, but they are kind of different. Mostly this shade is just a lot better, but let me give you some swatches of this. I think that any of these shades would do pretty well in a look with that copper, and this is definitely an underutilized palette in my collection, so I think that it'll be good to pull it out and use it. And there are the, didn't want to kick that, and there are the 4 shadows swatched. They will definitely go with this copper shade. I think this will work out really well. I also have 2 cheek products that I've pulled. So first up, we have this Tarte Park Avenue Princess Bronzer. This is a glowy, relatively light bronzer. Nothing too exciting to talk about with this one, but I just figured that if I'm going so warm on the eyes, I will likely want to warm up my skin with some bronzer, and this is something that I am very, very seriously considering panning next year, and it would be great to get a little bit of progress on it. There is a tiny little dip forming. It's not even really a tiny dip. It's this really shallow dip, but it goes pretty much across the entire product. So I might be making good progress, who knows? I have no sense of how deep this pan might be. And then I also pulled in this really new to me Pacifica product. This is their blush in Wild Rose, and I don't have a clean finger. Let's switch hands. This is a very, very glowy, warm blush. It's sort of a blush highlighter combo. I find this super, super pretty. I think that it really fits the right vibe of the rest of these products. And it's definitely something that I can see myself wearing, not just with this copper shade, but really with a lot of looks during the fall. I just think this will be a good thing to have out and be actively thinking about when it's time for me to get ready in the morning. And there we have it. That is my plan for my supporting cast project pan for the next 2 months or a few weeks, however long it takes me to finish up this guy. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've been enjoying this project. I think that it's been a really good fit for me and my channel, and I'm really interested to hear what you guys think. Thanks again. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed, and I really hope that I will see you next time. Bye!